Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Peter's Precious. So today we'll be talking about postpartum depression. Now, postpartum, after delivery. So now we need to understand that postpartum depression is a type of depression that happens to an individual or a lady after having a baby postpartum. So postpartum depression is a type of depression that occurs to an individual or a woman after delivery, after she has given birth to her baby. So now this usually affects up to 15% of people. Yeah, a lot of people go through postpartum depression without really understanding that it is postpartum depression. So we need to understand that people with postpartum depression usually experience extreme highs and lows, emotional, like they feel this, experience emotional highs and lows, basically frequent crying, fatigue, guilt, anxiety. They might even have trouble caring for their newborn child. A lot of people just decide not to feed the child, or when they see the child they run away from the child or try to do some bad things to the child. It can occur in different ways, it can find expression in different ways, basically. So postpartum depression can be treated with medication and proper counseling. Having a child can be extremely overwhelming. Yeah, thinking about it. I don't have a child yet, but yeah, I've had the opportunity and the privilege to have people around me with children who just gave birth to children. So to be honest, being a parent is a really challenging task that every individual that's a privilege to undergo that do undergo that. It's exciting and it could be tiring. It could be overwhelming for both parents, both the father and the mother, the new father and the new mother. So it's very understandable for people to have mixed emotions, mixed feelings, like they will say, and it's normal to have feelings of worry or doubt, especially if you're a first time parent. It's emotions that usually come with the package in that sense. So however, your feeling might include extreme sadness or loneliness. It could include severe mood swings. Yeah, a lot of people go through mood swings and frequent crying. You see people, like, so many emotions just come around during that period. So you may have mood swings, mood disorders during that period. So we understand that it's just comes with the package. So that's why you should understand that postpartum depression is real. So we can be on the lookout for those who are just going into into the motherhood phase. So they don't feel like they are the cause of any problem. It's just a phase and it's usually will pass. Types of postpartum depression in that way, or categories. Have heard of something they call baby blues, or yeah, something like that. Baby blues, yes, postpartum blues, and this affects about 50 to 75% of people after delivery, in which they experience this baby blues. Like you will just have frequent and prolonged period of crying. You just burst out crying with no real or apparent reason why you're crying. You just find yourself crying and no reason, or you see yourself having extreme sadness or anxiety or anxious, but there's no real trigger, there's no real cause for that. So this condition usually begin in the first week after delivery, basically the first week after delivery. But okay, as time goes by, it subsides. Like within 2-3 weeks the person should be okay. And but if this postpartum blues persists, you need to seek help from friends, family, from your partner, so you guys can search for help outside. So we all know what postpartum blues are. We're still under the types of postpartum depression. The first one we had was postpartum blues or baby blues. So the second one we're going to have is postpartum depression itself. So now postpartum depression is it's a far more serious condition than the baby blues or the postpartum blues, and it affects about 1 in 7 new parents. It affects a whole lot of people. If it's 1 in 7, see, it affects a whole lot of people. And if you have had postpartum depression before, you risk increases by 30% each pregnancy, that you may experience postpartum depression again. Now, in postpartum blues, you still care for your baby, but you have sudden outbursts. But in postpartum depression, the woman or the mother in that sense um, suddenly has the guilt, the inability to care for both the child and themselves during this period. So symptoms usually range from mild to severe type of depression, and it may appear for a week of delivery, and gradually it could even last up to a year later. Though these symptoms can be very severe, and they could last for several months and years if not treated appropriately. And you can use psychotherapy. Still on the types, so we have postpartum blues, we have postpartum depression, and the third one we have is postpartum psychosis. So now, postpartum psychosis is an extremely severe form of postpartum depression. So symptoms of postpartum psychosis may include agitation, confusion, feeling of hopelessness and shame, and helplessness, insomnia, paranoia, delusions, or hallucination. You can say that it's going way up the scale. And hyperactivity, an individual gets rapid hyperactive, rapid speech, or mania. So we should understand that postpartum psychosis requires immediate medical attention, since there's an increased risk of suicide and risks of harm to the baby. Postpartum psychosis is relatively rare. It has been said to occur in 1 in 1,000 people, and this happens immediately after delivery, whereby an individual the symptoms generally occur way quicker than the postpartum depression and the postpartum blues, that is the baby blues. It usually occurs really quickly after delivery, and they are usually very, very severe. Postpartum depression is common, as many as 75% of people experience baby blues after delivery, where they have sudden outbursts of tears and all. And up to 15% of people will develop postpartum depression in itself. And 1 in 1,000 people may develop postpartum psychosis.